Hello everyone, I'm Tim, the Suburban Dad, helping dads find great bourbon. Today I'm going to talk a little bit more about Booker's, but especially 5 alternatives to Booker's. 3 that are on the shelf pretty regularly and commonly around you, should be, and 2 additional ones that's a little bit more allocated and one that is just off the beaten path. So, let's get to it. First, I'm going to go ahead and pour myself some Pinky's Batch 2022-04 from last year. It's been a little bit since I've revisited this bottle, so I'm just going to enjoy some with you. I will say, from one standpoint, Booker's is really irreplaceable. Whether or not you think it's worth the price these days or worth the hunt, or if you like it or not, it is unique. The bottle with the wax and the seal and the ribbons, the batch names, the label design, the stories behind each batch. Each bottle comes with this card that talks about the story behind the batch. Pinky was Fred No's grandfather, so Booker knows dad. So this batch is about him, and the card gives more detail about that. It comes in this fancy box. It's really cool. I could do without the box, maybe because I have a bunch by now, but I could see knocking off $15 on the price to eliminate the fancy box. But you have to admit, this is cool and it's unique. So Booker's is pretty irreplaceable, and it kind of helps you get more in tune with the Jim Beam brand, the No family. Having been there and met Fred No and Freddie No, they really are welcoming and engaging, and it's pretty neat. So I feel like these batches do reflect their personalities and their family history, which is really cool. That aside, because you're not going to find that with any other ongoing release. Not that I've found anyways. Taste-wise, I have found some bottles that are comparable, sometimes better, or at least pretty close. First on the list is Knob Creek Single Barrel. So whether this is a store pick or even just the standard single barrel, they're going to be 120 proof. They're around $60, and they are a solid contender. In fact, in a blind tasting, the Knob Creek Single Barrel, that one right there, beat Ronnie's Batch 2022-01, and so it's cheaper, it's available all over the place, and it's pretty dang tasty. So that is a solid alternative. Second alternative is Old Forester 1920. Now, I have not blinded this or compared this to Booker's at all, but just from my experience with the bottle, it is only 115 proof, whereas Booker's is over 120. The Old Forester is very rich, complex. It's got some caramel notes, but also some cherry notes to it. Each batch of Booker's is different, and it's got a unique flavor and nose profile to it. So you can't really pin down, okay, this bottle is going to be just like Booker's. It might be just like that individual batch, but Old Forester is caramely and cherryish, and it's very rich. So even though it's only 115 proof, I still think it'd be a solid contender with Booker's. Price-wise, it's anywhere from $56 to $65-ish around me here in St. Louis, Missouri. So that one, I could easily go to several different stores right now and pick it up without having to try hard to find it. So that's 2 that are very easy to find. The third one that I would say is pretty easy to find, somewhat hard to find at the best price, Rare Breed. So Wild Turkey's Rare Breed, 116.8 proof. This one is such a good bourbon. It is reliable, it is consistent, it is rich, caramel, vanilla, just the classic bourbon flavors that you want, all packed into a high proof expression that is just phenomenal, really. So price on that one, ideally around 50 bucks. I've seen it as high as 60 plus. I'd easily pay 50 for it. With how good it is, it's worth 60, but since I know that I can get it cheaper, I'm gonna be a stickler about that one. Okay, so that's 3 that are way cheaper than Booker's and much more readily available. None of those 3 are really allocated or limited releases at all. So check those out. Now for the last 2, the next one, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Now of course that one is allocated, it's a limited release, it only comes out 3 times a year. Each of those batches is going to be unique, just like Booker's. However, those don't have any cool story behind them. The proof points are going to vary. I've seen it, the lowest batch has been 118 proof, the highest has been, geez, I think it's either upper 130s or into 140, somewhere in there. Price point on that one, 65 is the lowest retail you'll find, but more commonly around 70, 75, maybe 80 bucks. 70, easily a great price on that one. Still cheaper than Booker's, same proof point as Booker's, and again, beat Booker's in a blind tasting for me, so it's a good alternative for sure. And last but not least, I haven't talked about Balcones enough lately. Balcones True Blue Cask Strength Single Barrel Pick. This expression, I've tried a few now, and they've all been very rich and caramely. Proof point is up there with Booker's. This one in particular is 129 proof. So this one's a little hotter than most Booker's. Very rich, complex, like I was saying, and solid pour for sure. Price point on this one is about 65 bucks. Around me, as of last year, I think it was, we finally started getting them in our area. It's based out of, the company, Balcones, is based out of Texas. They're finally growing and expanding their reach throughout the country. There's a good chance it might be in your state now. So this one's definitely off the beaten path. It may not even be in your state just yet, which would be unfortunate for you. I feel sorry for you if that's the case. Pick you up a bottle, 65 bucks. Look for Total Wine. That's where I got one of my other ones that I've had. This one I actually picked up in Texas at a local store. Excited to try it. Total Wine, though, around me now here in Missouri has one almost continuously. They keep it in stock, a new pick all the time. So look out for that. This one is actually a corn whiskey, so it's not technically bourbon, but it's still fantastic. Lots of caramel and a little bit of vanilla, but just a rich, viscous, oily pour. So there you have it. 5 alternatives to Booker's, because maybe you're one of those that are just done with Booker's, you're over the price hikes, you're over the hype and the difficulty you have finding it nowadays. I get it. I do. I still enjoy the novelty of Booker's, and the first batch of 2023, Charlie's batch, was pretty solid. So I have high hopes for this year. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. I would appreciate it quite a bit. And until next time, cheers.